Well, how did it feel talking to Bob Ray about this stuff?
Felt important, like they're gonna listen. It's nice to be a young person and somebody listening to you, I guess. And hopefully he really helps us out here and does something, because we've had negotiators and I think he might be our fourth one or something.
So when I had to think about, at the age of 65, which I will be this summer, I will be becoming an elder, I had to think about, well, what do you want to do next? And I decided that what I wanted to do, and what I want to do, is to spend time in places that are perhaps not on the news every day, and that maybe not in the front page or on television, but is nevertheless the frontier where I feel that my time is best spent. And that is trying to represent the people of the First Nations in Treaty 9 who are in the Matawa area to the best of my ability. And so I now work for you. And you can kick me around and you can criticize me, and you can send me letters, and you can make speeches, and you can do whatever you like. But until you actually fire me, I still work for you. And I will continue to do
that. Many promises have been broken. I feel the Mother Earth shaking. I hear the cry on the forest land. It's funny how people never understand. An offer on this Mother Earth, believe in what I believe in as I pray. I see an eagle fly, passing a message to the Great Spirit. I hear the cry of passing the message to the Great Spirit, to the Great Spirit.
They have said they want to get paper. They want a paper-driven process. So they get people to send in paper. But this isn't about paper. This is about a real discussion where we have the best experts, the best, and many of the best experts are in this room.
The land is really important to our people. It's our identity is the land. And we need to be sure that we can use it for gathering, for hunting, for fishing.
Because I use the land, the land was good to me, I take care of the land, and the land take care of me. It's not because we are very seldom use that piece of land, it's because the relationship that the community or the First Nation people has to the land.
I know that I visit many cities and towns, across Canada, and I've seen the degradation of water all over the place. And here we have, some pristine waters still that are around, and I think we need to appreciate that. We have to remember that what we have here is valuable.
The land users, the grassroots people need to be spoken with. They need to understand what's going on.
it's a different vocabulary to a lot of people, especially people here. You know, if they know they can't understand something, then they lose interest. So I think that by having a person go house to house to let people know what's really going on.
I feel for those old people. I hope somebody is interpreting those people way up there. I hope somebody talks in Indian, explain to them, this is what's going to happen. I wish I was there, I would tell them exactly what's going to happen. And watch them cry. I would cry. Well, our old people, my mom used to cry. She used to take her, they chop her trees down. That's her little traps, you know?
Brought up from the land, everything that he was brought up, the nurturing, the teachings all came from the land. So perhaps maybe that's where the solutions lie.
That was part of what I was thinking in the environmental cleanup, you know, it covers everything. You can't, you gotta be able to live after they're gone.
Are they going to clean up after themselves? Like the company Cliffs, yes, they have many fines everywhere they go. They don't clean up proper or whatever. You know, why do I think that they're going to treat us any better? You know, maximum profit and get in there as fast as you can and get out. That's their business plan.
But once they set out, close that mine, they're going to clean all that mess.
A lot of things will be damaged. Our plants, our berries, our animals, trees, water. So you want to think about, you know, you want to count almost every stick in that land. How many cents you want to charge for that? You want that back because it's not going to grow back.
If we're going to be doing something with that ring of fire, we're going to have to do it right. That on the protection side of the land, the air and water, animals and the resources, we have to be involved. We have to be involved in the monitoring of all that we got listed there.
And I feel that a lot of homework has to be done, and I hope some of you people will be taking notes, pertinent notes that reflect the lands that were provided to us, the rivers, lakes, streams, and waters that were provided to us at no cost. Just the Creator, the Lord Jesus, gave us that at no cost.
It's very important that you know that I have heard and I understand, and I shall try to really embrace in my own thinking more and more, that we have to understand that the land does not belong to anyone, but that there is a title and a priority that belongs to the people who have been here for thousands of years. And I've heard that message, and I understand.
A lot of the roads that we have now came from the logging road and made them into highways. And that's what's going to happen there too.
We don't know yet what the real impacts are going to be as a result of the road coming in, or the railroad coming in, and the traffic that's going to come along with that. Also, the transportation of the ore and the material that's going to come through these roads. You know, there's always the potential of having an environmental disaster, like you know, spills or something like that.
They say 200 to 300 trucks are going to be coming down once they start development. How can we be given assurances that our people are going to be safe when we want to use the land?
What I'd like to see with some of these trees, I think there's going to be enough for all the communities to actually build teaching lodges in each community, you know, with the logs that are taken down to make this road.
If I could change anything within the school, it could be faster internet, especially in the senior grades. researching is very important for education, and having faster internet would have helped me in my studies.
Not always people are gonna be thrilled with the idea of roads going up north because of their tourist camps.
You're never going to make everybody happy. But I'm hearing more and more people saying to me in different communities that they want road access and they want better hydro and better electricity and they want better broadband for their kids. It's all part of making sure the children have a good education or able to take advantage of the educational opportunities. So these things are all going to go together. And it's never, every development has an impact, but I still think this has got some opportunities that we have to take into account.
It all boils down to money. How much? I think that's where we're at.
I see revenue sharing right at the top of the wish list.
We don't want the same thing to happen with the forestry where we watch trees go by every day and we get nothing out of it. This can't happen anymore.
It's in their backyard, this is let them have it. We're going to benefit down here anyways. The population is going to explode and there's going to be businesses. We're going to get something out of it.
We've got the Baxters here, we've got the Matches here, we've got the Munias here, they're all from Martin Falls. So now we have an interest because a lot of our people actually come from Martin Falls. So how is that going to be, how do we resolve these problems? Because they have to go back to their land and that's rightfully so, that's their land, right? So we do have an invested interest in that as well.
Because at the end, we all have to end up standing together as one. And now let's hope that the money doesn't split the natives apart.
Are we willing to give up this land just for money and for jobs? Our First Nation kids are coming out of those communities now and we're into 2013 now. We gotta start moving forward. But are we willing to give up what we have for that? Because there's industries out here that can help us without us going in there.
You have the traditional people that live on the land for many, many years now. You grew up on that land, and they have those younger generation. So there's always some kind of a division there when you talk about these projects.
Revenue sharing is a joke. A couple million crappy buildings and who knows what. But where's the opportunity for real development? And we are sitting on so much potential wealth here. And homes, everyone can own their own home, everyone can have their own business. Where's the opportunity? I want to see, and I want to hear a realistic assessment on what the business opportunities for us in the community are. Because for me, in 2 years I'm going to have a university degree, and the best job I can get here is probably construction. And that's just a joke. That's an absolute joke for how much money we have here.
The problem we have here as natives is money all the time. You want to get into the business.
I believe my community is seeking true partnerships with the industry, Ontario, and the government. And if they are serious in working with us, to develop policies to promote Aboriginal economic developments, how are we going to proceed this with them?
I know there's a lot of opportunities there, and there's going to be a lot of non-native companies vying to build this corridor. Are we, as people who live on the land, are we going to get that opportunity to build these resources? And I think that's something that when we negotiate, we should make sure that's in there, that a certain amount of these contracts will go to First Nation companies.
We have to start talking regional, where, let's say for instance, a $3 billion infrastructure that's going to take place. Our land alone, if they think they can do alone, is impossible. It has to be a regional development where all First Nations are involved, and they are the developers of.
I know this is, I think it's part of what you want to hear. It's part of why the Native people are concerned regarding the development of mine at so many dollars in there, or billions of dollars. Why not them get a share of the money to develop their community or employment or create all that? You know, that's what it goes around that way. Okay?
Got it. Yeah. You have to go, Rick.
I got it in about 10. We got notes here taking. We're taking notes very carefully. So I hear you very clearly.
You say, are we in the driver's seat? Joe was asking that. Bill was asking that question. To what extent are we in the driver's seat? Yes, to this extent, that the companies and the government will pay for the benefit of certainty and the benefit of partnership. They can't be certain either. They've got their own lawyers saying, well, you got a good chance, but you might not win. So as long as there's that uncertainty on each side, that's what brings people into the business of negotiating and discussing.
So what I'm trying to say is there's no jobs, no jobs for young people. There's no jobs. So that's why it's not, we're not surprised why they're into drugs or alcohol, but it got nothing to do.
That's why we have a very young, growing population. They have nothing else to do but make babies. They have no jobs, no education, nothing. That's all they can do is rely on government benefits.
Rewarding careers has to be pursued for our youth to provide communities the skills to support and build the communities.
I have 4 kids, and I want my kids to have a chance and a choice.
Are they going to guarantee so many jobs to the community members over so many years, or is this going to be this one-time hiring, and if you don't make it, you're out? Because we kind of lost our ability to work. You know, there's a lot of people that can't go up there and do that. I'll probably get rocks thrown in my house for saying that, but it's the truth. You know, it's gonna take us some time for people to get used to work and going over there to work.
Most people would, although they might not like to hear what you had to say, I think most people would agree with you when you say that the experience of just throwing people into an industrial situation or a mining situation overnight is not easy. So we have to figure out how to make an employment strategy work.
Like even now, you know, the job postings require grade 12. And how many of us have grade 12? So that's why I'm saying, you know, we have, we're ill prepared, that's why we're so, you know, afraid, that's why we're so fearful.
You know, let's just work on first goal is educate these First Nations people, you know, like the government just, you know, they want us to fall back, you know, they want us to fight amongst each other, they want us to, you know, like not be well educated. That's the main priority is to be well educated, you know.
I think that's what the government needs to understand. You know, they need to put more money into education.
What I'd like to also see happen is the curriculum that's being imposed on our children be tweaked so that it reflects or even prepares them for the coming jobs, and that there is where you would put some of the money.
Mr. Ray, I just hope that we don't set our youth up for failure and that we do help them succeed. And when they succeed, we all succeed. When they fail, we all fail. So we have to help them the best way we know how.
After I finished residential school, I had a hard time in life. I struggled, and have a hard time once in a while, still, even though I'm 66 years old today. And I think that's why I'm careful what the government is doing. I don't want to see that mistake again. I don't want to get my kids, my grandkids, get the same problem I had with the government. I don't want to see that. I want my people, my friends, my family, the government to make them better, to have a better life in the future.
People have to be healthy to go to school or train or to be employed, you know.
It took 100 years to get us to where we are now, dependent on the government. It's going to take another 100 years to heal our people, but it could be done.
We need to utilize our elders, our spiritual elders, so we can heal, doctor, whoever's sick out there, the drug dealers, bulleters. That's what they're doing this.
That we keep our culture alive, because that's our forefathers, their medicine. That's how they were healthy. We need that today.
But once money starts to generate in the circle, we start to heal our people, they start to go back on the land.
And yes, we do need the capacity building that we all know that has to happen, and the social development that needs to happen. And like we talked about time frame when the mine is going to start and all, these are the things that we have to start on now to make things happen, where we start partnershiping with Ontario, Canada, and the industry to sit down and start negotiating the terms of where the First Nations are in terms of how they see this land protected, how they want to develop this land, and how they want to develop socio-economic development in their own communities. We know, we live here.
There's two kinds of investment we need. One is the physical infrastructure that we all know about, roads and cables and lines and things that we need to build a better infrastructure, housing, all the things that we don't have right now. But the second kind of infrastructure we need is the social infrastructure, the infrastructure in our bodies and in our hearts, yeah, and in our souls too. We need to build that so that we're going to be ready for the opportunities when they come. And the suggestion that a lot of that has to do with money and resources, that suggestion is absolutely correct. We need to work harder on getting the money and resources, and we're very committed to trying to do that.
We're going to have, with 125 years of mining that I heard is coming, how many chiefs are we going to elect? Are they going to follow the same agreements? Probably not. So we want to make sure that there is a word that kind of protects the body of our little children. The agreement that they must understand what we sign.
But in the 500 years of history since they came over here, they've been lying to us and killing us off, killing our food. Why does it have to be mining? How can I believe them when they say they have our interests, our best interests in mind?
My position is no. And what he said, we should take them to court and we should fight it. I don't care if we're not going to win. So what? At least we stood up. We can look at our great grandchildren and said, we fought. We lost, but we fought.
So how many people agree with Matthias that it's too soon to give a decision? Okay, people put their hands up. 2 hands up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm against it and also I'm for it, you know. I'm somewhere in the middle there. And I'm not just looking at myself, I'm looking for the next generations.
A lot of things will be damaged. Our plants our berries, our animals, trees, water. I now have kids and I have grandkids already, and those are the ones I'm thinking about, you know. What's the environment going to be like afterwards? You know, I want to make the best, at least say something on their behalf.
One of the speakers said that she was very, very concerned about having to make a decision because she felt the weight of the consequences on her shoulders. I can only tell you, I feel the same way. I feel very aware of the advice that I give, and I can assure you that I don't enter into this process lightly.
It's sort of a twofold message. The one is that you're fearful of the development, but the other thing I'm hearing is you want the development. I hope I'm not misunderstanding, because I'm hearing that message very, very strongly. People are afraid of what it could mean, what can go wrong, what can go bad, how we can make a mistake with this and end up with problems bigger than we had ever imagined. But I also think that people are saying how we're living now isn't good enough. It isn't enough. There's got to be more for us, and most importantly, the little ones are coming into the room now. There's got to be more for them. How do we want them to grow up? And that's the question we have to ask ourselves. If we want them to get a good education and have good health care and get a job and be able to provide for themselves, we have to make an economy happen. We can't have any of those things without economic development. And so we have to work hard at making sure the development works for people.
We're embarking on an incredible future here. What do we do here? Well, first and foremost, we have to get the guidance from our elders.
Like when we look at an eagle fly by, we enjoy that. So we want generations behind us to enjoy watching the eagles fly too.
These are the things that we see here. We are here. I've been here. I turned 61 this year. I've been here all my life, and I've been places, and I always will come back. This is where I will rest. And so is the majority of the people here. And when we're talking about Ring of Fire, I think this is our last chance, and I think our first time and the last chance to make it right.
Understand?
I do.
Like I said, I'm behind you.
I was beginning to wonder for a while.
Make it sharpen his knife.
Greenstone, I've also hired a negotiator. Negotiator here is the former AFM Red Chief Open Mercury. And the saying goes like this, well, among the metallic chiefs, so what, they've got Tonto, but we've got a Lone Ranger, Kimosabe. Welcome, Kimosabe. Where you working?